How's it going, Yankee fans? Welcome back to Fireside Yankees with your boys Alex and Ryan. So last night we're enjoying a good old Yankee game. It's 8-5. We're cruising along. Minnesota Twins beating the absolute brakes off of them once again. A nice clean sweep. But then we get hit with a little bit of news on Twitter. Yankees drop that they pulled Juan Soto from the game, and I'm sure everyone here is thinking the same thing. What the hell's going on? What do we have to expect here? What are we thinking? What's the news? What did Juan Soto say? What happens now? And I'm going to run through, and, Ryan, obviously very emotional right now thinking about the prospect of Soto missing substantial time. I'll preface this by saying after the game, Soto did speak to the media saying that he's been dealing with this for about a week, 2 weeks now. He's been grinding through it verbatim. That's what he said. It's been a little bit bothersome when he's like kind of moving it around and stuff after games, but he said it hasn't interrupted his throwing or hitting. If you have a torn UCL, you can freaking feel that. You know what I mean? Like, you can feel that when you're throwing. You can't throw. You lose all your power in your arm. Soto was throwing the ball fine yesterday before he got pulled from the game. I don't think this is like a serious UCL tear. I think this is probably more of like, it could be like a tendonitis thing. It could be more of a strain. It could be anything. But I don't think it's the severity of a UCL tear, because he would know, you would feel that. And the Yankees would have shut him down the second he felt that 2 weeks ago. Instead, they let him play and he hit a walk-off homer in San Diego or San Francisco. So, like, I don't get the sense that this is like, the end of all days type of thing, but he could miss time, and we have to prepare for that reality. We have to prepare for the fact that this could be a grade 1 strain. It's been bothering him. They're getting imaging today just to see the severity of it. Imaging always scares the crap out of me. I know, Ryan, probably you too, the second, like, yeah, we're going to go get imaging on it. It's probably like, all right, well, it's getting a little bit more bothersome. We should figure out exactly what it is. That way we can deal with it now rather than let it fester and potentially become something more serious, just like what happened with Garrett Cole. Listen, Soto's in the middle of a MVP caliber season. We want him to stay here long term. He rarely misses time to injury. This is classic Yankee luck. But let's hope they caught it early. Let's hope they didn't push it too far. And, Ryan, I know you want to say some things about this. We'll try. I'll try to be the level-headed one. I know you're going to probably get emotional about this one, but I'll let you get to it because I know you have some thoughts on your mind.
Yeah, so, obviously, like, kind of like with the Garrett Cole one, where, like, it was just this slogfest of, like, emotions. I will say, with this Soto thing, and I think it's very important for me to kind of avoid talking myself off the hill from, like, a fan perspective and kind of going down this rabbit hole of just negativity. Soto mentioned, I think it was, like, 1 to 2 weeks. Over Soto's last 2 weeks, he has an .853 slugging percentage and a .261 WRC+. As you mentioned, it is very important. I would argue almost critical and a crucial detail that he mentioned he doesn't feel the soreness or he doesn't feel an acute pain while swinging, right? Now, that was a detail that Garrett Cole mentioned. He didn't feel acute pain, or not he mentioned. It was reported they didn't feel acute pain while throwing, which also indicated it wasn't a tear. Now, granted, inflammation still knocked Garrett Cole out for an extended period of time, but he's also a pitcher, right? Like, this is a position player. It is dramatically different. I know people are going to say, well, when Jason Minguez, he tore his UCL and he got surgery. Yeah, because the Yankees were going to have him, DH the entire year. And also because his symptoms were significantly worse. I'm seeing people say that Aaron Boone is talking about this the same way he's talking about Jason Minguez's one. Absolutely not. Aaron Boone said, first off, Aaron Boone did not address the media prior to Jason Dominguez getting imaging. Jason Dominguez was scratched from the lineup. They got imaging during the game. That was an ongoing development. We did not find out about the torn UCL until after the game concluded. Now, another detail of that is that when that happened, when Boone talked about the torn UCL, he mentioned they got imaging not because he was feeling sore, that was part of it, but because when he was taking batting practice, he couldn't get any pop. He couldn't drive the baseball. And look, I'm not saying that Juan Soto is 100% fine. There's no shot he isn't fine. But what I am saying is that his batted ball data as of late has been stupendous. It's been really good. And, even Boone mentioned that it wasn't like it was a situation that was getting progressively worse. That was the exact phrase he used for Jason Dominguez, progressively worse. He just said, it just didn't feel smart to push it. The soaring had lingered for a while. That's why they're getting imaging. That's a source of concern. Don't get me wrong. But let's get to let me just put this out here now. Let's talk about if this was the worst case scenario. If Juan Soto tore his UCL, UCL tears do not affect the swing. The worst case scenario for the Yankees is that Juan Soto DHs the rest of the season. Juan Soto wants to make his money. What do you think it's going to look like on the market if Juan Soto plays 63 games this year, right? Look at what Shohei Ohtani did. He basically played 130-something games, shut it down once the Angels were really out of it, and then made an insane amount of money in the offseason, a record-setting amount of money in the offseason. If Juan Soto is, again, if it's the worst case scenario, Alex, I'm talking the worst possible thing, something that, again, as you mentioned, he didn't feel any pain while throwing, he didn't feel any acute pain while hitting, it'd be a little bit tough to kind of piece that together and go, UCL tear. Worst case scenario, he's your DH the rest of the year. As long as his bat is still in the lineup for the postseason, that's kind of where I'm at. Will this affect maybe your division chances? Yes, if he's out for an extended period of time, you do play the Orioles on the 18th. That hurts you. But, for looking at this team as currently constructed, as looking at this team from the standpoint of, like, what we know right now, we don't know anything that would go like, oh, damn, he tore his UCL or something of that nature. And again, it's a position player, so it doesn't affect hitting as much as people may think.
Yeah, right. So, even if Soto, like, let's say the worst case scenario happened, it could still DH. You look at Bryce Harper a couple years back, you look at Shohei Ohtani this season. It's been done. It's being done at the moment. But with that being said, like you kind of referenced, this is not the same situation that we saw with Jason Dominguez, who literally could not hit the ball. We saw Soto put a ball into orbit 4 freaking days ago, 4 or 5 days ago, against the Giants. You know what I mean? This is not the same problem. This is not nerve inflammation. This is not. I mean, look, it could be a very low grade nerve inflammation, but this isn't the Garrett Cole situation. This isn't a Jason Dominguez situation. It's been happening for 2 weeks. If the Yankees thought this was more serious than it was when he mentioned they said he's been getting treatment on it, right, Ryan? He's been getting treatment on it. Why on earth would they let their superstar guy in Juan Soto play if they didn't think it was that big of a deal, right? He's been getting treatment for a couple weeks on it. He's been grinding through it, playing with it. It was a little bit worse yesterday. They were like, let's just play it safe, go get imaging. Look, it could show that there's something serious there, and he's been really hiding the pain and somehow playing at the level that he has been, but he still has pop in his bat. He's still throwing the ball fine. It's not like we've seen anything that's been like, oh yeah, that looks weird. No, it's all looked totally fine, at least from the eye test. With that being said, he's a 25-year-old guy. You know what I mean? That's the best part about the situation. This is not 32-year-old Aaron Judge. We're like, oh my god, he has forearm discomfort, or it's Garrett Cole. This is a 25-year-old guy who is healthy for the majority of his career. Of course, this would happen now as he joins the Yankees, but I personally, yes, I'm scared. Ryan, you're scared. Most of us are like, what the hell do we do now, except for wait? And I will say this, I don't feel necessarily end of days scared. I think that he may miss a couple weeks. They'll give him as much time as he needs. But the Yankees can survive a couple of weeks without Soto, right? They've been good enough this year. They've won 19 of their last 23 games. They're absolutely on fire right now. They're still going to win games without Soto. Keep that in mind. They're about to get Garrett Cole back. This isn't a team. I know they have the Dodgers coming up today and this weekend. But if you kind of look at you just look at the standings right now, the Yankees sit 4.5 games over the Orioles. We have a nice little cushion there. Hopefully, we'll have the All-Star break coming up in a couple weeks, and then you'll have a little bit more time to give Soto as much time as he needs off. But this team is still good without Juan Soto. Of course, they're a lot better with Juan Soto. But I'm trying to quell the fears, give us a little bit of something to, kind of lean on and say, this is not the same injuries as what we've seen in the past. They have the Dodgers and the Royals, and then Boston and Baltimore. They have a tough stretch of games coming up, tough stretch of series. Boston will probably be their easiest version. This is where you kind of need your starting pitching to step up and dominate. You know what I mean? This is where you need those guys to what they've been doing all season. We need it every day now. The Royals are good this year, man. The Royals are a decent team. They've been kind of stinking lately. They've lost a lot against the Twins, Padres. It looks like they're going to, they split a series against the Guardians, and they have the Mariners today. So, you look at what's going on with some of the teams that we have coming up for the Yankees. They're good, but beatable teams. The Yankees can beat them. They're good enough. So I do feel as though right now, talking myself off the fence, being a little bit more optimistic today, because I can't afford to, I think emotionally, I can't afford to go down that route. And you as well. I don't want to go down that route.
Yeah, and I'll give another, kind of a couple of pieces of data that I think are kind of encouraging almost. In the Minnesota series, Juan Soto averaged 75.5 miles per hour of bat speed. On the season, it's 75.8. Now, I'm not going to say that, that means, again, not at all hurt, nothing's wrong, that kind of thing. He's getting imaging, something clearly is bothering him. But I could also kind of compare this to when Judge got imaging on his ribs, or his quads, or his abdominal, excuse me. If you remember that during spring training, he did sit during spring training, but he also mentioned, I would have played if this was the regular season. Should also mention, you know, Nestor Cortez talked about this in spring training during the whole Cole thing, like everyone's dealing with something. When people hear a player's playing through soreness, like, I guarantee you Judge is getting treatment. You just don't know it. I guarantee you, like, Verdugo's getting treatment. You just don't know it. I guarantee you, like, Rodon gets treatment. You just don't know it, right? Like, I don't know an athlete who isn't getting treatment in the middle of the season. Like, do you know anybody who, like, I mean, I know football's a different sport than baseball, but, like, in football, I mean, how many these guys are like, yeah, I'm getting treatment on my leg? Like, they're just not going to talk about this publicly because they don't have to, number one. And number two, because, you know, fans aren't in the clubhouse. They are not professional athletes, right? At the high school level, you're not getting treatment after every game because you're in high school. You might not even have the facilities to get treatment after every game. And you know, I think it's also important to note with you know, soreness and all that stuff that, again, like, I don't think you and I are discounting the possibility of him being seriously hurt. I think you and I are just like, nothing that he said, nothing that the data over the last 2 weeks would indicate, nothing would indicate, oh man, like something's really wrong here. And you know, we don't know. We don't know what's wrong. We don't know exactly the extent of what's wrong. I just, right? Like, I don't know. I don't really think, I don't know if where the, I don't know where to start and end with this point, but kind of like, we'll have to wait and see, right? And obviously you pray that Garrett Cole, obviously you pray he's fine, but you pray Juan Soto's fine. You pray that this team can overcome it. Obviously it's unfortunate because this is the first time he's been dealing with forearm stuff. But hopefully the Yankees caught it earlier. Hopefully it's you know, just inflammation. Hopefully the imaging reveals that he's fine. As long as there's nothing with the ligament, the you know, UCL, I think I can live. You know, I'll say this now. This is a team that at this point I'm kind of like, just get it done in October. Like, just get it done in October. That kind of vibe, where it's like, yeah, just get it done in October. Whereas, you know, I feel like with previous, like last year's team, Judge's injury killed them because I didn't feel like they couldn't play competitive baseball without him. I'm not saying the Yankees are going to play good without Juan Soto, but I think they can compete. We'll see. Like, we'll see. The extent of this is obviously not a good time to have it happen because you have Dodgers, as mentioned, Royals, Baltimore. I know Boston's not, you know, a great record-wise, but they're not a doormat. Like, they're not like the A's or the White Sox. They're actually pretty competitive. So we'll wait and see, Alex. We'll wait and see on that front.
We'll wait and see. But guys, this is the update we have. You know, any more information, we got you guys covered as always. Make sure you like and subscribe. Drop your comments below. We're here to vent in the comments section. Try to do my best to respond to all you guys. And obviously on our social media, we'll keep you guys updated. Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you guys on the next Fireside Yankees episode.
Perfect.